Good afternoon, guys. This is your Auntie B coming before your screen again. This afternoon, we are talking about nature of matter. And under this topic, we will be talking about the definition of matter. That's the first thing to do. Then, number two, we are going to talk about states of matter, and we are going to talk about the changes in the state of matter. So, those are the things we want to talk about this afternoon. We want to talk about the nature of matter. And if I may ask you, you've been hearing of matter. This is not the first time I'm defining matter to you. When we talk of matter, matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. That is the simplest definition of matter. Now, moving to the state of matter. That is, this matter can exist in different states. And we have three states of matter. Number one is solid. Number two is liquid. And number three is gas. These are the three states of matter. Matter can exist as a solid, it can exist as a liquid, and it can exist as a gas. Now, before we move to the next subtopic, we are going to talk about the properties of these states of matter. Each of these states has their own property. Let's start from solids now. Now, the particles of solids are tightly packed together. Their particles are what? They are tightly packed together. That is number one. Then number two is that the particles vibrate to and fro about a fixed position. Because the particles are closely packed together, so they don't have the freedom to move here and there. So their movement is just around a fixed position. That is number two. Number three is that solids have definite shapes. Yes, they have definite shapes. We have seen a solid, you can say, okay, this is rectangular in shape, circular in shape, square, or whatever shape that the matter comes in. Now, once you know the shape of a matter, it is very easy for you to calculate the volume. So, another property of solid is that solid has a definite volume, or solids have a definite volume. Do not forget that. And the last property of solid is that they are very difficult to compress. They are very difficult to squeeze. So I've given you like 5 properties of solid. And number one, their particles are tightly packed. Their particles are what? They are tightly packed, and the particles move to and fro about a fixed position. That is number two. They have definite shape. They have definite volume. They are very difficult to compress. Those are the 3 properties of solid. Those are the 5 properties. Those are the 5 properties of solid. Now, talking about liquids now. Let's talk about the properties of liquid also. Now, number one is that the force of attraction between molecules of liquids are weak. They are weak. So, that is telling you that the particles of liquids are loosely packed. They are not tightly packed like solids. So, because of this weak force of attraction between the molecules of liquids, now it gives them slight freedom to move around a fixed place. Do you understand that now? Then number 2 is that liquids do not have definite shape. You cannot say this is the shape of water. No. But liquid can assume the shape of the container where they put it. It can assume the shape of the container where they put the liquid. So once it can assume that shape of that container, definitely it is very easy for us to calculate the volume. So no definite shape, but they have definite volume. That is number 3 property. Number 4 is that liquid cannot be compressed. Once the container you are putting it is full, you cannot force more liquid inside that container. That is why they are not what? They are not compressible. They are not compressible. So don't forget that those are the properties of liquids. Number 1, the forces of attraction between molecules of liquids are very weak. So because they are weak, it gives them little freedom to move around inside the container. Then number 2, they don't have definite shape, but they have definite volume. Then the last one is that they are not compressible. They are not compressible. You cannot compress them. You cannot force them into the container. So those are the properties of liquid. Don't forget those properties. The last part is the gaseous state. Now, what are the properties of matter when they are in gaseous state? Number 1, the cohesive forces between the molecules of gases are negligible. That is, the forces that binds them together, that holds the molecule, the particles together, are negligible because they are very, very small. So they are negligible, and because they are negligible, the cohesive forces are negligible. That gives the gas molecules the freedom to vibrate around in the container where they are kept. It gives them so they are free to move around because the cohesive forces that hold the particles together are negligible. They are very small. That is number 1. Then number 2 is that gaseous or gases do not have definite shape. You cannot even see gas with your physical eyes, not to talk of seeing the shape. But gases have definite volume, because if you put a gas or different gases into a cylinder, then you will know that this is the shape of the cylinder, and once you know the shape of the cylinder, you can calculate the volume of the gases inside that cylinder. So no definite shape, but they have definite volume. Number 4 property is that gases are compressible. Gases are compressible. They can be compressed. You can put 8 kg of gas into 6 kg cylinder. They are compressible. Do you understand that? Now, I've been talking about changes since I started this class, and I can tell you that matter can change from one state to another. That is, from solid to liquid, from liquid back to solid, solid to gas, gas to liquid, gas to solid, and all of that. But before there can be change in state of matter, then something must have happened, like change of temperature or change in temperature and environmental factors. So these changes that we have been talking about, we have 2 types in chemistry. We have number 1, we have the physical change, and we have chemical change. Let's talk about physical change. Physical change is a change in which Now, let's talk about physical change. Physical change is a change in which no new substances are formed. That is the number 1. No new substances are formed in physical change, and the change is not easily. Now, let's talk about the physical change. Physical change is the change in which Now let's talk about the physical change. Physical change is the change in which no new substances are formed, number one, and the change is easily reversible. That is, you can get the previous reactant from the product formed. It is easily reversible. An example of physical change is we have number one, we have the solution of salt. When you dissolve your salt in water, if you put it on fire again, you are still going to get your salt and your water again. That is physical change. Then number two, magnetization and demagnetization of iron nails. When you pick your magnet and extract an iron, nothing is formed. No solution, no compound is formed. You can use your hand to remove the iron away from your magnet again. You are good to go. So those two are the examples of physical change. Now let's move to chemical change. Let's move to chemical change. When we talk of chemical change is just the opposite of physical change. Number one thing you need to know about chemical change is that chemical change. Now let's talk about chemical change. Chemical change is just the opposite of physical change. And the number one thing you need to know under chemical change is that chemical change is not reversible. It's not reversible, number one. And number two, when there is change chemically, then new substances are formed. Examples of chemical change. Number one, burning of firewood. If you burn your firewood from your wood, it will turn to charcoal, and if you keep burning the charcoal, it's going to turn to ashes, and there is no corner that you can do to change the ashes back to wood. That is number one. Number two example under chemical change is decay of substances. When anything decays, you can't turn it back to its original product or matter. Then number three example under chemical change is rusting of iron. Then number three example under chemical change is rusting of iron. Once your iron is rusted, no juju that can take it back to the previous position. So that is that about changes. What you need to know about changes that occurs between the three states of matter. So the last thing that we are going to talk about under changes in state of matter is, let's talk about the key words, the terminologies, the scientific word that will give each change in state of matter, and we are going to explain that using a triangle. Watch as I do. Now, let's begin to name each of the changes now. When solid changes to gases, what is it called? It is called sublimation. Sublimation is when solid substance or solid matter changes directly to gas without first changing to liquid first. You just change from solid and move to the gaseous state. So the scientific word for that reaction is sublimation. Sublimation. Now, when gases change to solid, there is a word that we use for it in science. It is called deposition. Deposition. So let's move to the down part now. When liquid changes to gases, what is it called? it is called evaporation or vaporization. Then when gas changes to liquid, it is called condensation. Condensation. So let's move to the last part. When liquid changes to solid, when you put water in your freezer and it changes to ice block, what's it called? It is called freezing. So this is freezing. And when you remove your ice block from your freezer and you put it on the table for some minutes, what will you notice? It would have changed from that solid ice block to liquid, and the method or the process is known as melting. Melting. Now let's go again. From gas, matter can change from gas to solid, and the name is called deposition. And from solid to gas is sublimation. From liquid to gas is evaporation, when you put water on fire for a long period of time. If you go back to your kitchen, you realize that the volume of the water would have reduced, and once you open the pot, you see vapor. You see vapor. So that is evaporation or vaporization. Then from gas to liquid is called condensation. From liquid to solid is freezing, when you put ordinary water in your freezer and it turns to solid, that is freezing. And when you remove the ice block from your freezer and you allow it to cool, to change to liquid, that process is known as melting. So this is the end of our class today. We've talked about nature of matter today. I've given you the definition of matter, the state of matter, and their properties. I've told you about the changes in state of matter. I've given you the two types of changes we have in chemistry and their examples. Then lastly, I have explained the changes in state of matter, from solid to liquid, liquid back to solid, solid to gases, gases back to solids, from liquid to solid, then like that, like that, like that. So don't forget, please, do not forget to share, to like, comment, and view this video. You need to share so that your friends, your sisters, your brother that are struggling in chemistry will come and learn freely. So please share, help us to share, and thank you for the likes and the comments. Thank you, thank you. Do not forget, I'm your online chemistry tutor. My name is Auntie B. Till I come your way next time. See ya, catch ya later.